Hello everybody, my name is X Factor, and the gunplay in Rainbow Six Siege is an absolute mess. We're going to explain why. I played a ton of alpha, I've played a ton of beta, I sing high praises for the game. I believe in the developers, they've made a ton of changes from alpha to beta, and they're consistently listening to the community for more feedback. There's a lot of time before the game releases, but they really missed the boat on one of the most fundamental things when it comes to a first-person shooter. Two of the things that really bother me about some titles is mouse acceleration and input lag. The good thing is Rainbow Six Siege has eliminated most, if not all of that. So you don't really have to worry about input lag or mouse acceleration problems within Rainbow Six Siege. That's a big one on the PC side, but they missed the boat on consistency. The first thing I'd like to talk about is an optional thing. There is a Hipfire sensitivity slider, but it's not as tweakable as I'd like it. I would love it if it was a 3 number with 2 decimal places that you could physically input the number yourself or at least have an editable file. But it does not have an ADS or aim down sight sensitivity. This means I'm stuck to their zoom sensitivities. That's one of the problems with Rainbow Six Siege that we're going to go over in a second. It'd be nice to have an ADS slider so you could dial in your Hipfire, you could dial in your ADS sensitivity separately. And the last thing that I have a problem with before we get in the major consistency issue is Rts Zoom Level is 25%, which is fine if irons are 25% zoom level, and there's your problem. Many different weapons have different zoom levels. Why is that a big deal? Because that dictates your sensitivity. You could have a different sensitivity for your pistol than your assault rifle. So we're going to step up to this block right here. We're going to look at the right X, and we're going to ADS. Notice how far I'm zooming in with the F2, Twitch's weapon. Now, what if I grab my pistol? That is a lot less. This is like 5%. This is like 30%. Again, you're probably saying, no big deal. Well, it dictates the distance you need to travel to get from one point to another. These are going to be different distances, and you can measure that out if you slow down and do 360 on your mouse pad or your controller, whether it's with your pistol or your assault rifle. Those are 2 different values. The further you zoom in, and because the F2 is 30%, the longer it takes you, or the more distance it takes you to simply get around to the 360. So the pistol is much easier to flick around. Again, when it comes to an FPS shooter, it's about muscle memory. It's about consistency. So what if all the irons are 30% on the assault rifles and shotguns? Well, they're not. Here's another good example. We have Sledge here. Here's his shotgun. Here is the concrete pillar. We're going to walk up to it. We're going to look at the yellow X, ADS, and pay attention to the brick pillar to my left. As I zoom in, now look at the pistol. It's less. The pistol is 5%. The shotgun is more than 10%, maybe 10%. What's that mean? Different sensitivity for your pistol, for your shotgun, for your F2. The last example we're going to give is going back to my good friend Twitch. We're going to actually equip his shotgun, ADS to the irons, and look at the zoom level. Remember, we just used Sledge's shotgun. This is much higher zoom level. This is 20%. That means if you use a shotgun and Sledge one round, you come back to assaulters, you pick up Twitch with a shotgun, your sensitivity is going to be drastically different because it's tied to the zoom level. Now, what about that pistol? That means 5%. And those aren't the only discrepancies. There's a ton of them in Rainbow Six Siege. The 417 DMR for the assaulters is 18%. The MP5 is 10%. Some of the shotguns have different values. That means depending if you're using a pistol, aiming down sight with irons, or a weapon, you're definitely going to have a different sensitivity, let alone if you're jumping kits. You're going to have different sensitivities every single round. So here's my recommendation. I have several for the Rainbow Six Siege dev team. The first thing is find a consistent value. If you want to zoom to aiming down sight with irons, that's great. Make sure every single weapon is that same zoom level, whether it's 5, 10, 15, 20, or 30%. Make it consistent across the board because then all the sensitivities are going to be tied together. But don't forget to take the pistols along for the ride. Whether it's a minimal or a 10 or 15, they all have to be the same. The next change I recommend is RDS. Whatever your iron zoom level is, the RDS should not be adding to that. So if you settle on a 10 to 20% zoom level, that's what RDS should be. It should not increase that level. It shouldn't be 25 if you settle on 10 or 15. It should be 10 or 15 or whatever you settle on. Therefore, it's the same zoom as the irons. You can jump back and forth between your pistol, then of course your shotgun or assault rifle with an RDS and have the exact same sensitivity. Then of course, that ADS sensitivity slider with those customizable slider settings. That would be the dream. You've taken care of the input lag, you've taken care of the mouse acceleration. This is the final building block, the consistency. The developers are looking to have your voice heard. Don't forget to comment down below if you have any thoughts that differ from this or what your thoughts are on this video. As always, guys, thanks for watching. Thanks for hanging out, and we will see you guys soon.